Welcome back to my sports world. Guys, bear with me today. My allergies and my sinuses are flaring up like crazy. I have that issue. So I'm drinking my green tea with some herbal things in it to see if that helps. Um, whoa. What a weekend. What a weekend. I tell you, I made a video last week about the game. Manchester United away against West Ham. And I said this will be a tough match. It's going to be another knuckle game. West Ham is a good team. Don't sleep on West Ham. And boy was I right. And boy did we get value for money this time. This was drama from the first kick on the ball to the last kick on the ball. Literally on the last kick of the ball. This was unbelievable, I tell you. And where do I start? I mean, I have to say that, back in the day, let's look at it this way. Back in the day, during the Alex Ferguson era, we had some really dramatic games. And I think that's what kept the fans so captivated and so on the edge of their seats and so engaged. And that created an atmosphere around the team. Like, oh my God, we are getting back to that. We are getting that old vibe back from the old era for so many reasons. Not just because of Ronaldo, not just because we're putting together a really freaking good team. But we have these heroic players, and we have these dramatic wins. It's like even the Wolverhampton game was a dramatic win. It was a dramatic game. The draw against Southampton was a heroic and dramatic draw, and the game against Newcastle and Leeds was like two out of proportion games with skills and finishes like crazy. This is what we used to do under Sir Alex Ferguson, and I know there's a lot of fake fans out there that doesn't know better, and trust me, there's another video coming today about just that. Who can't see the forest for trees. Back in the day, Manchester United could go out and do what we did now. We could lose a game in Europe, we could lose a game in Premier League, and everything was doom and gloom and blah blah blah, and there was some idiot on the schmuck on the field that had done something that made the whole team lose, okay? And fans were so pissed and so angry and so emotional. And then the next game, and it was a dramatic win and a good win, and it was like, oh my God, the fans was like high as a kite again, And you had these games. One game in that most people remember really well is where you had heights and lows, and you thought the world was going to end because you were losing the game. The Champions League game in '99, with 3 minutes left, we scored 2 goals and win. What a roller coaster from bottom of the and then bottom of the barrel to the mountaintop of Kilimanjaro. It's like those are the games we had back then. And to be honest, under Moyes we never saw that. It was like boring, it was flat, it was like nah. And under Van Gaal it got even worse. And with Mourinho, don't let me get started on that piece of crap. It was the most boring football and as far away from the United DNA as a club, as a ball game you could ever come. Under Mourinho, there was not much left of the old Manchester United because 3 different coaches had taken their turn destroying Manchester United for what it once was. A hard-fighting team that could give their fans. I'm talking about the period and the time under Sir Alex Ferguson. Under Ferguson, the Manchester United team will give the fans heartaches and heartbreaks, but it will give them so much energy and joy and happiness because they won a lot of important things. But don't Don't think that we only won under Sir Alex Ferguson. We lost a lot of games, and we lost a lot of important games as well. But it was the overall package. It was the way the team, the charisma of the team, the DNA and the structure of the team, and the players, the personalities. You know, it was there. It showed. Had a connection to the fans. And then the Moyes took over, and when Hal came in and Mourinho came in, and all of a sudden you could see you had coaches that didn't have the same passion and the heart for the club, and they brought in players that was there to be paid. They were paid mercenaries. That was all they were. They had the players that was brought in had very little, passion for the club. They didn't have much. They didn't maybe feel that they belonged to the club in the way a lot of earlier on did. I mean, look at Cantona when he came in. He came from Leeds, and he just embraced the Manchester United, thing as his own, like his own family. That couldn't be said. You couldn't say the same for Fellaini, Sanchez, Herrera, Lukaku. You name it. A lot of these players didn't have the same passion or the same love for the club as the old school guys. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. This is the first thing he pointed out and wanted to change when he took over. He wanted to get players in that had a connection with the fans, that he saw could become something similar to what was in the 90s and early 2000s, because he wanted players that was bleeding for the jersey, was protecting the logo with passion, and did their best every freaking day. He wanted people that was breathing the Manchester United DNA in and out every day. That's why he brought in people like Bruno. Rashford was before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer really developed him even further. We saw he has taken Greenwood to become even better than what he was, and maybe given him even more of a club status and a good standing with the fans. And we see it now. He's bringing in people that are willing to fight for the club, willing to become a Manchester United DNA player. And look at Varane, look at Sancho. He's willing to become, the next Beckham probably. We have now players that are giving 100% for the club, and that are faithful to the club. Bringing back Ronaldo, who's already been there. He's already a legend. People like that. Look at Cavani, probably one of the most professional players in the world that you can ever find. He's dedicated to the fans. He's dedicated to the club, and he puts in the work. He puts in the effort, and he has success, and he's become one of the fan favorites. This is the Manchester United we had in the 90s. This is the Manchester United we had in the early 2000s. And this is what took Sir Alex Ferguson 6 years to build. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have now spent 2.5 seasons building a team that fairly close down the road will start winning things and become the next Manchester United DNA team like we had under Sir Alex Ferguson. We are on our way to something great. The fans just have to have patience, because I know that the training staff and the managers have patience. They have a plan. They're going forward. I know the players are buying into it, and they're willing to do it. They're willing to sacrifice whatever it takes to get there. I know the board is probably on that road and that ride as well, and it looks like the Glazers are fully backing it. So we are in a good place right now as a club. We just have to keep it going. So when you see the fake fans screaming, just ignore them. Well, back to the game. The game, oh my God, against West Ham. It was, like I said, drama. The best headline you can put on this game is, what a drama, And the biggest drama was the referee. he was the one creating the drama, you know. Without the referee, this would have probably been with a different referee. This would have probably been a game that we would said we won comfortably, 4-1, or maybe or 4-2. But instead, we had to like take out all the showstoppers and all the big things in the world, and we had to kind of like get the help from gods and everything, and probably all the different gods in the world to win this game. And there's two heroes in this game on the field, and that is Lingard and DaGea. Lingard scored the winning goal, and DaGea stopped a penalty in the last minute of overtime. And oh boy, and I was not confident because I have seen DaGea in goal on penalties, and that's maybe been my strongest criticism of DaGea, is that sometimes he does easy mistakes during the game, but when it comes to penalties, I haven't looked at him like a strong penalty goalie. With him, you're most likely going to score. That's been my take on it. Yesterday, he picked the right corner, and I think he was reading Noble's body language, because I looked at Noble. Before he hit the ball, I said, if I was Noble, I'm going to hit my right hand corner. And the way he lined up his upper body and hip, yeah, right hand corner, or for DaGea, left hand corner. And for some reason, I used to be a goalie, and for some reason, for me, I always felt it was easier. Maybe it's not for every goalie, but it was easier for me to coordinate and do the throws to the left than to the right. I mean, it wasn't bad that way either, but I could always for some reason, I could get further out that way faster than I could go that way. That way, not just for penalties, but free kicks as well. I could, for some reason, my jumps and my flying in the air was higher and longer when I was doing to my left than when I was doing to my right, for some freaking reason. I don't know. I've talked to many goalies who says the same thing. So I don't know if that's something that, if you are a right-legged dude, that if you use your right leg to kick the ball with, maybe that's because that's the leg that you put in the most effort on when you throw yourself that way, and when you throw yourself that way, you use your left. So maybe that has something to do with it. So when I saw that he was going to go left, I was like, I hope DaGea has not made up his mind and just picked a corner and just, I'm going to go with it 100%. Because being a goalie in goal, just against penalties, you can do two things. You can try and read the player as far as you can. Is there things that gives it away where he will shoot? A lot of players give you clues. The good ones will not. So sometimes it depends on who you go up against. Bruno Fernandes, for instance, as a goalie, you just have to kind of like, I'm going to pick a corner and I'm going to go for it 100%. If I save it, I save it. With Noble, I think you can read that guy, and it looked like it because I could read him just from watching the TV. I said it right away. He's going to shoot in his right corner, which is DaGea's left. I hope DaGea haven't made up his mind about going 100% to the right. I think DaGea was, I'm going to read this guy, and thank God he did, because he shows the right corner. And you could see that DaGea put effort into it, because he was going way out there and he had to put his hand up. That means he had overthrown himself to get as far out as possible. He saved it. That's good. And what a save, and what a goal saving moment that was. I mean, I was pissed, I have to say, when that penalty was given. Not because it wasn't not because I think it wasn't a penalty, because it was a penalty. According to the rule book these days, an arm extended like that, even if you're that close to the guy who do the cross, you're gonna be hit with a penalty. That's just how the rules are. Um, so I that's not what pissed me off. I was like, is this gonna end this way? Because the referee, what was his name, Atkinson, something like that, didn't want to even give us two. We had three penalty situations that could have gone our way. One of them, I don't know, questionable. So don't, if it's questionable, you don't give it. So I'm okay with that one. The two others, clear as day penalties. And he didn't even want to see the VAR. I don't even think the VAR even checked one of them. Shouldn't they? So I felt that we were robbed for two penalties at least. And I felt robbed when he gave that penalty to them and not the two others to us. So I guess that the save from David DaGea kind of like nullified things in a way. It was good. It was a good moment. The other hero in this game was Lingard, and oh my god, did he deserve it from what happened on Tuesday in the Champions League. This was redemption, this was revenge, and this was very much needed for Lingard to boost his confidence again. During the week, I have heard and seen and been reading that he has been very remorseful and been sorry about things. As a footballer, okay, you do shit, you do mistakes. It happens all the time. Even the best of them do. You just move on, don't worry about it, keep working, and you will bounce back. He did in a masterful way. What a goal. I just feel I can understand why he didn't celebrate fully, but I wish he would have, because you are paid to do a job, okay? You're not paid to think about other people's feelings. Yeah, if you scored against them, celebrate it. They will understand. It's your job. But I can also understand why you didn't want to do it. But so it's not a big deal. But I think you could have celebrated a little bit more enthusiastic. Oh man, what a game! It was, it was a draining game. It was one of those games where you're sitting there on the edge of your sofa, and you're going like, oh my, from one extreme to another, in such a short span. We're talking two of the penalties and the goal was within like what, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. That was crazy. It was crazy. It was exhausting to sit and watch it on TV. I mean, but it was fun. It was like, it reminded me of the old days again. It reminded me on how it used to be under Sir Alex Ferguson. This is how we used to be in the 90s and in the 2000s. This is exactly how the DNA of Manchester is. From one extreme to another, and the emotions are running crazy and amok. And you have fans that are like, don't believe their eyes, and you have fans that are screaming from the top of their lungs because of happiness and enjoying things, and just because of the sheer freaking unbelievable things that are happening. This is so old school Manchester United. This is like it was when Neville was there, and Beckham was there, and Roy Keane was there, and Scholes, and Butt, and Solskjaer was there, and Ronnie Johnson was there, and Henning Berg was there, and I mean, Phil Neville was there, and this is the old days. This is how we used to play, and this is how we used to mess with fans' feelings every week under Sir Alex Ferguson. This is so old school. We're getting back into that, and I think that they say that things goes in cycles and circles, and every so often you go back and you find your identity and DNA again, and things start all over again. And we see it. There's something here, guys. There's something. We, as fans, we just have to be patient, and we're going to see a lot of good stuff. I think you can win a couple of things this year. So be it if it's the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. I don't care. I would like to win those two. If that's all we win and we end up in second or third, we're done a good season. if we end up winning only one, let's say we win the FA Cup and second in the league, and we go to semi-finals in the Champions League, that's a good season. My lord, we're back to the old school days now. So, what was my takeaway? Ronaldo is lethal in front of the goal. He could have had 2 more goals. He could have had 2 more goals. A little bit more concentration. He could have had 2 more goals. He had one shot in the first half where he was played through. I think it was McTominay who played him through. He went for a run. It kind of looked like the goal that he scored against Newcastle, but he hit the straight on the keeper. A little bit more focus and maybe a little bit different angle or something. Or if he maybe had tried to dribble or done something, maybe he could have placed that ball lower, further out. And then the one in the second half, the right after halftime. Oh my lord! Maybe if he's tried to go around the goalkeeper, he would have probably scored, and because the goalkeeper was already off his balance. The goalkeeper was off his balance. He was on his way down, and he was going off his feet. So if Ronaldo had maybe done a little flick to the side and then gotten it in, Ronaldo could have had a couple more goals easily. It wasn't far away, and then Bruno could have had a goal. If it wasn't for Fabianski getting like an inch of his fingertips on the ball to make it hit the post. It was crazy. We're a little bit more cynical and clinical finishes. We could have won this game 4-1, 5-1. This could have been a Leeds all over again. But I feel that the defense of Watford is better than the defense of Leeds. So looking forward now, though, we're meeting West Ham again on Wednesday, 3 days later after this. And oh my god, they're going to have Antonio back, so they're going to be a different team up front, I'll tell you right away. It's not going to be any easy game, for sure. The only thing that maybe is a difference is that this time in the Carabao Cup game, we're playing at home, at Old Trafford, which means we will have the benefit of our crowd, like they had yesterday. How much was it? It was like maybe 3 or 4 or 5,000 from Manchester in London, and 50,000-60,000 was West Ham fans. This time around we will go to Old Trafford and we will have the fans on our side, and they will maybe have like 2,500, 2,500, 3,000 people at Old Trafford. So it will be, it's a new game. It's going to be a different game. I think the outcome will be still the same. Manchester United win. Is it going to be like a walkover win? Hell no. Hell no. We know now that West Ham is a really good team. That's why they are in Europe this year. And that's why they are high up. And have been for the last 2 years. And they have good players. You know, they have Declan Rice. They have Antonio. Fabianski is a good goalie. So in the end, they are a very, very strong, good team. And as much as David Moyes didn't function in United, he has done wonders with West Ham. There's something about the right guy at the right place at the right time. Moyes is a perfect example of that. So don't sleep on West Ham again. Just because we beat them this time around doesn't mean we have to can relax and think that we're going to beat them again just because we're playing at home. We have to go there on Wednesday with the intentions of winning and winning big and playing good football. That's all we have to do, and we have to fight to do it. As for player rotations in this game, I think the team that was chosen was 99% correct. I don't know. The only thing that I'm going to put my finger on is Fred. I have no clue why Fred is starting. I have no clue why he's playing. I can understand that he can play certain types of games, you know, but when you're playing teams like West Ham, you know, that's not the. I can see Fred playing games like, when you play teams like Norwich, maybe even Burnley, Newcastle to some extent. You know, when you play the less good teams, you can play Fred. But when you play in the top 10 teams in the Premier League, I don't think Fred is good enough. The thing with Fred is he has a game here and there where he's like, oh my god, did you see Fred? He was really freaking good and he scored a goal, But most of the games he's like, oh man, come on Fred, you gave the ball away again. Oh man, you didn't, oh Fred, come on, you didn't clear that. He's creating chances, and sometimes half chances. He's creating half chances for the opponent. And he's creating stuff that Varane and Maguire, and sometimes when Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw has to clean up. And sometimes it leads to goal chances, and sometimes it leads to goals. Fred is not good enough. In teams that are not high in intensity, I think Matic is the better option. In teams where there's not much running in the middle, I think Matic is the better option. In games where you have a lot of running and a lot of high intensity, we don't have a good alternative. Donny van de Beek, Lord Almighty, is an option, can be an option, but what he has showed as well is hasn't impressed me. But then again, people might say, well, he never played, so he might be rusty. You might have a point in that. So maybe we should have tried to play Van de Beek more instead of Fred. Van de Beek and McTominay together, maybe, or just play McTominay alone in a CDM role. See how he copes with it alone. Even though people will say, well, he's better box to box or as an offensive midfielder. Yes, he is, but give him the freedom to stay on defensive side of things, but give him the freedom to do runs, and when you do, someone else has to cover for him. It's kind of like called progressive football and a progressive midfielder, and a lot of teams operate with progressive midfielders. Manchester United operates with a false 9 and progressive forwards that are kind of like not a 9, but they're kind of like a 9, but not. But they're coming from the middle. You can do a lot of trickery like that, and you can do a lot of stuff like that, and it will either show up as a success or not. But I don't know why Fred started this game, and I hope he's not starting the next one. I hope he does change it up a little bit, just because a lot of the first 11, you really shouldn't be playing this game, because we have an important game against Aston Villa coming up next weekend on Saturday, and then we have Villarreal midweek after that. So I hope for this Carabao Cup run against West Ham, I hope he's resting a lot of the first 11, and I hope he's playing other players. Hi, Lord. So that was my take on this game. Oh my God, it was a good game, good win. The team deserved praise. DaGea deserved praise. Lingard deserves praise, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer certainly deserves praise for his game tactics this time. It was really good. So guys, until next time, take care. It will be really soon. See you soon.